As the James Webb Telescope brings us closer to understanding the cosmos, its findings shake the foundations of religious belief. We are on the brink of a paradigm that challenges not only our scientific understanding, but also our long-held religious understandings of the universe. The last time such an important revolution happened was when Galileo Galilei discovered that the Earth is not the center of creation, and then when science realized that the Milky Way is not the whole universe. The James Webb Space Telescope is one of the most impressive scientific instruments ever created by humans. With its ability to peer deep into the universe and gather light from the earliest stars and galaxies, this telescope is much more than just a technical marvel. It is a symbol of humanity's ceaseless search for truth. Galileo Galilei once said that nature is a merciless judge that forces us to seek knowledge. Many people believe that we can understand the inevitable nature of the universe only after we have found God. However, perhaps it was God himself who instilled in us the spirit of research to discover the mysteries of the universe. The question of what God really is, or whether such a being really exists, remains one of humanity's deepest mysteries. Science is not only driven by curiosity or fear of nature beyond our control and a universe so vast that we feel insignificant. The purpose of science is to provide answers to the deepest questions of our existence. While JWST and the entire scientific mission of humanity can be considered divine in this context, there are religious currents that vehemently reject all new knowledge and scientific progress. JWST has made such shocking discoveries that even the scientific community is amazed. It identified some of the oldest known galaxies, more than 13.7 billion years old, and provided evidence for the presence of water in the atmospheres of exoplanets. These discoveries could take our understanding of the origin of the universe and the existence of life in it to a whole new level. When JWST finds the first evidence of life on other planets, we must understand, religious or not, that God did not create just one world, but many. One particularly interesting aspect that is now more than ever in focus is the multiverse. Previously dismissed as nonsense by conservative science, the latest shocking discoveries make the existence of multiple universes increasingly likely. Interestingly, the three main world religions do not recognize and even oppose the idea of multiple universes. In Asia, however, the concept is completely different. The Vedas describe the existence of many worlds inhabited by gods, demons and other beings. But we don't have to go that far to find the idea of a multiverse in religion. The Germanic mythology of 9 worlds created by different gods is nothing but the multiverse. Such parallels may indicate that JWST's scientific discoveries have a deeper spiritual dimension and that we are on the verge of a fusion of religion and science. In ancient times this was completely normal, the two disciplines were inseparable. Mathematics, music, mechanics, everything was considered divine and therefore religious. The reasons why church leaders and other religious leaders rebelled against modern astronomical discoveries must be different. Who doesn't know the name Galileo Galilei these days? The great mathematician and astronomer lived in Italy from 1564 to 1642. Today, however, almost no one knows the problems that Galileo had to face. He was the first to improve the telescope, and the resulting astronomical observations led him to a heliocentric worldview. The scientist discovered the 4 largest moons of Jupiter, the phases of Venus, sunspots and the uneven surface of the moon, all of which provided evidence for the heliocentric model. Galileo lived during the Renaissance, a period of intellectual and cultural change in Europe. That era was characterized by great advances in art, science, and literature, but at the same time, the Roman Catholic Church continued to have strong religious control, especially in the early days of that era. The Church was not interested in reviving the old scientific worldview of antiquity and saw the teachings of the old sages as a threat to its power and world order. This included, for example, the defense of a geocentric worldview based on the teachings of the ancient astronomer Claudius Ptolemy and the writings of the Bible. This model placed the Earth in the center of the universe and was considered the only true divine structure. When Galileo publicly defended the heliocentric model, he had many problems with the Church. The Inquisition was a kind of counter-movement to the Renaissance. All modern ways of thinking, naturopathy and disciplines such as astrology, which were still valued in antiquity, had to be destroyed. In 1616, the Inquisition declared the heliocentric worldview first assumed by Nicholas Copernicus to be heretical. Galileo was brought before a church tribunal in 1633, convicted of heresy and forced to renounce his views. He was allowed to live, but spent the rest of his life under house arrest. The rigid position of the Church on the heliocentric model was officially due to the fact that the Bible presents the earth and humanity as the center of God's creation. Any challenge to this worldview was seen as a threat to this authority and divine order or the power of the Church. If it became public that the Church misrepresented itself, it would diminish its power. Another Italian scientist, Giordano Bruno, suffered even more. He was once a priest but also loved astronomy. Bruno went one step further than Galileo. He assumed the infinity of the universe and the existence of countless inhabited worlds. These ideas could have been visionary, but for Bruno, his genius ended at the game. The Church considered Bruno's ideas extremely dangerous and gave him a long trial to discourage other researchers. Bruno died a completely senseless heretical death in 1600. The Church has only apologized for these crimes in modern times, but did you know that the Catholic Church has never really recognized the findings of modern science? One of the lesser-known facts today is that the Big Bang theory was invented by a priest. For the Belgian Georges Lemaitre, religion and science were not incompatible. He said that while science deals with the how of the universe, religion explains the why. Lemaitre believed that scientific discoveries and religious beliefs can coexist harmoniously as long as they focus on their respective fields. The then Pope Pius XII first commented on the Big Bang theory in 1951 and said in a brief statement that the Big Bang could also be considered a divine act of creation. However, it naturally became clear that the stories of the Bible could not be literal truths, but only allegories. God did not actually create the earth in a week. Moreover, Islam also has an almost identical creation. Allah created the earth in 6 days, and there was a man and a woman who resemble Adam and Eve. Let's take a closer look at the idea of the Christian, Muslim and Jewish creation stories. The apparent precision of the ideas reflected in the respective writings is amazing. Created in 6 days and a man was there first. Of course, a man who is right and can command everything, animals and land belong to man. Now let's look at the scientific findings. The Big Bang was an event that lasted less than a second, and it took just under 9 billion years for the Earth to appear. It may not really be more than a week in God's country, but we need a lot of imagination. Today we know that humans were not there first either, plants and animals were. It doesn't really fit with many teachings in the Church, nor with the idea that humans were once animals and still are to some extent. Today, a new revolution in the worldview is ahead. Is the Earth flat or round? Is it the center of the universe or just one part of countless others? Is the universe finite or infinite? And above all, are there multiple universes? Even for those who are not religious, such new findings have implications on a metaphysical level. An infinite universe would mean that our science has not understood anything yet and that the universe defies our human understanding. There are Buddhist monks and believers in Asia for whom the idea of infinity is not a spiritual problem. They even claim to be able to see the universe with an infinite third eye. Only our Western science and us ordinary people have a very narrow worldview because of our schooling. We also believe that only one or the other can be true, while quantum mechanics, for example, shows us that in reality countless variations can coexist. If the James Webb Telescope proves that the Big Bang never happened and that the universe is infinite, it will disprove our old science. And that might be a good thing, because we're getting nowhere. JWST is currently pushing the boundaries of science on many levels, and scientists are pulling back. Our knowledge and methods can no longer describe the universe as it appears today. What does it mean? A return to metaphysics or a fusion of quantum physics and classical physics? In quantum mechanics, scientists study particles that carry all the information in the universe and that can be in many places and many times at the same time. Quanta are the basic building blocks of matter. If these particles have such properties, we must consider the fact that the physical world is not what we think. It can be an illusion, a variable projection, and it is even proof that we ourselves create this world. Does that mean we are God himself? It is possible. Certainly there are opinions, and even scientific theories, that God is all that we see, infinite consciousness and intelligence beyond our ordinary spiritual understanding. But if so it is, and God is within each of us, we could still find him and the plan or idea of the universe, with its unprecedented ability to peer deep into space. JWST continues to reveal the mysteries of the universe and challenge both scientific and religious understanding. Its findings may lead to a reconciliation between science and spirituality, echoing the ancient times when the two were considered linked. As we explore the cosmos, we may find that our quest for knowledge brings us closer to answering the deep questions of our existence and the nature of divinity.